Can you believe we've been doing this for 10 weeks?
No.
No?
It's been hectic.
It's a whirlwind, really. We had all those shows cancel, and our store was closed, and we got together as a team and said, what are we going to do? Got any ideas? We're all ears. And Sandra said, well, you could do a live feed. And I was like, what? A live feed? Oh, I think I've seen a few of those. But we wanted to do it in gem shop style, of course. So we came up with this, and it's been an experience. It's been very challenging and very rewarding, actually, very rewarding. And we want to thank every one of you.
We want to thank everybody who's watched, and of course, if you have any questions, you can keep asking them. If you don't want to ask me or ask Veronica, just ask Agatha.
Agatha, that's right. We haven't talked about Agatha. Jean keeps on posting these little innuendo, comic book kind of things to promote the show. But Agatha has a sister, and her sister does not have a name yet. So we thought we'd ask all of you if you have ideas for what Agatha's sister's name should be. And we will announce that during season 2.
Yeah, she's the one that kind of goes in between us and Agatha. Okay.
So during our 9 shows that we've had so far, there are a few people I just wanted to give a quick shout out and thank you to specifically. First of all, Dan Bassinet, Richard Hintz, and Thomas Williams have commented on all 9 of our shows. And Kathleen Carlson has commented on 8. And Benjamin Kartz and Tom Weiser have commented on 7. So you guys were the top 5. Thank you so much for watching so many of our shows. I'm really happy that people have flashed out and really like this for some reason. It has been challenging. However, we have a staff here helping us out, which all made all the difference in the world for us. If it's your first time here, my name is Veronica Woods, and this is Jean Mueller. We're the co-owners of the Gem Shop. However, we do have our staff watching and helping and commenting during the feeds that we've done so far. Sandra, Stephanie, Annie, Corey, Sherry, Isaac, and Evan have all been here throughout the 10 weeks too, and they have done a tremendous job putting up with all of the changes every week and how just keeping up with this new way of us doing business.
Isaac and Evan are Veronica's sons.
They're also your grandsons.
And my grandsons.
We want to continue to encourage you to comment. We will take a toll of all the names commented during this feed and add them into a box for season 2 in the fall. And I just want to jump into those boxes right away, if that's okay. Yeah? Okay. So, our first box tonight is everyone who commented last week. If your name is picked out of this box, you will be receiving a 20% off coupon tonight on anything that you choose to purchase.
You don't have to buy anything, but if you do, it's 20%
Yeah, you can just
off.
watch, sit back, have some popcorn, iced tea.
Gary!
There you go. Thank you for being our customer, Gary. You will get 20% off anything you choose to purchase tonight. If you're lucky and fast enough to put those numbers in. And I get to pick on Gary because I know him really well. Okay, next box, 159 items. It's going to be a long feed. We'll go as fast as we can. 159 items. The number that Jean picks out of this box tonight is half off for the first person who texts this number or comments this number in the feed. What's the number?
What's the price range?
Price range, thank you. Price range is $15 to $1,200. Okay, Evan, can you show that to the camera? Number 66 is half off. Okay, are we ready? We're going to jump right over there into the tables, right? Did you want to show
just
this?
a little note.
Oh, a little note.
Because people are seeing this in here. This is all Christine Marie Morrison and Jasper. I'll be talking about this.
Okay. Come on, Evan. So if we're gonna take a little travel back 10 weeks from today, we started out with Malawi Agate. And this first tray, Evan, you're gonna go up close. This first tray is all from the Alimaho claim. These pieces are all cut pairs from our Malawi baby stock.
Our first presentation went over where these agates come from. You can go back and watch that again if you want to see a map of where they come from. And we went over that there are two main deposits, or two areas of deposits. The older one, sometimes referred as a 1970s deposit, and this deposit where most of these are from is the newer deposit. And these agates tend to be quite a bit smaller, but a little bit more variety of color and range of color.
So the Alimaho and what was referred to as the 1970s deposit were the two deposits that we talked about in the Malawi area, and how rugged the terrain was. All of these pieces here are cut from the Alimaho claim and are cut and polished pairs. Number 14 there has a striking red and white, $20. So what do you think about the future of this rock?
Well, I'd like to announce that we actually have a little less than 4 tons of Malawi agate in Malawi right now, designated for us. However, because of the situation in the world, we have not been able to get it shipped. And we don't know when we're going to get it here. I mean, the earliest possible would be in the fall sometime, but it's more likely that it'll come next winter. And of that 3.5 tons or so, we do have a bunch from the old deposit, from the 1970s deposit, which tends to be larger.
These are larger nodules of the Alimaho claim. Number 20 is 70 for the pair. The Malawi is highly fractured. It's really hard to find a nodule, or rare to find a nodule without those fractures in it.
Yeah, most of the Alimaho agates are still being dug in an alluvial. That's one reason why there's more fractures, but in talking to Joshua, some of the rock that's coming out of the solid rock still has a lot of fractures.
So it's exciting to know that new stock is still coming available on the market of this material. So hopefully we'll see a lot of good new specimens in the future. 23 is a single. Beautiful. A little chromatography there. And a yellow band. Number 24 is $40 for the pair. Number 25 is 40, has a broken back. Beautiful front. Number 26 is 30. This one blue and red. Is that it for Malawi, Evan? So there's 26 Malawi agates. Moving on to week 2 of our live feed, we did Botswana agate. And right over, still in that same south part of Africa, we talked a lot about... Oh, I'm sorry, honey, you got to do the close-up next. About how the jump shop was intricate in importing this material early on in the 70s. When's the first time you imported this material?
I think it was 1976.
1976.
And we told the story about how I had to go to the bank and borrow money because I didn't have enough money to buy rocks from South Africa. The banker wanted to kick me out of the office, but eventually he agreed to loan me the money to buy. Most of the agates that you're seeing here are not from that original purchase. I have a rock here I want to show you in a minute. We dealt with a broker or exporter in Botswana. All of Botswana agate was moved to South Africa and exported from there because Botswana is a landlocked country and they did not have the capability of shipping rock from their country. So it was moved to South Africa, and there were a couple of exporters there who shipped to the United States. We were not the only ones importing Botswana agate. As I mentioned in the previous feed, Missouri Minerals, J.R. Rogers, W.L. Cotton, all imported Botswana agate from South Africa. The person that we were dealing with, we remember, I didn't know too much about what we were doing at the time, and we asked him to send us material that was a little larger, if possible. The very first shipment, which was 1 ton, and it came in 50 kilo sacks, or 110 pounds, and every one of those sacks had an agate in it that was 10 pounds in size. That's you don't see that today, of course. Well, anyway, in this day when we were all digging under the shelves and looking for those boxes that we haven't seen in years and years and years, I was getting ready for this, and back on one of our shelves in the basement, deep, dark, there was a Botswana agate that I had kept from our very first original shipment. And in a minute, I'm going to show it to you.
This is a pretty amazing Botswana agate. It's kind of, hold on, that's the next one. Just to show you how big this thing is. It weighs over 17 pounds.
This is a 17-pound agate, and it's nowhere near whole.
Nowhere near whole. It has this one little skin right here, and the rest of it is much bigger. So it's a 17-pound portion of an agate.
Yes.
So that actually is possible for Botswana agates to be very large, but incredibly rare.
Yeah. Not too long after that, they would offer Botswana agate in several categories. You could buy whole nodules, you could buy mixed broken and whole nodules, you could buy pink Botswana agate, and you could buy carnelian Botswana agate. We imported all 4 of those categories, but after a year or two, I don't know exactly, remember what exactly, maybe 1978 or 9, none of the dealers in South Africa would sell whole nodules anymore, because it just left them with a whole bunch of broken nodules, and people were desiring the whole nodules, so they were not available anymore after that.
So these are not from your original imports. Those are all gone and sold and done with. These
where did these nice whole nodules come from?
Now you're going to challenge me to show rocks and speak at the same time, Gene.
Yes.
So let's see how this goes. we were contacted at the gem shop here to look at a collection out in California, and I happened to be out there for other reasons. I said, okay, I'll stop by. And oh,
No, that's not good.
we've got a system going. What are you doing, Gene?
Okay.
I stopped by and looked at this guy's collection, and he says, well, I used to import Botswana Agate back in the 70s, and I piled it up on the side of my garage, and I'm in the mind frame now in my life that I just want to sell it. And you guys, the gem shop, came up when I was looking for a buyer, and would you be interested in looking at it? So I went out there, and he said, I think I have about 3,000 pounds of Botswana Agate. And we're like, okay, well, looked at it and where it was. And I said, okay, we're interested. And we made plans for the next year to go out there and start excavating out his lawn, because the sacks of Botswana that he had brought back from port were all stacked up next to the garage in 1974. And in 2018, we're in a much different position.
This was a side of a hill.
The side of a hill.
There were no sacks left.
There were no sacks to be found, even on the bottom of the dig. There was a 4-foot retaining wall that had been buried when it fell over onto the yard. And it just turned into kind of an alluvial float, if you will, that had to be excavated out from the bottom to the top of where the garage was, the bottom of the hill to the top of the garage. And it took 2 weeks' time and a lot of labor. And in the end, there were actually over 17,000 pounds of Botswana whole nodules that we dug up, sacked, and shipped back to Wisconsin. And that's where these Botswanas are from.
If you happen to have seen some of Veronica's posts of doing this, you know that there was also a few other things, like bones and spiders, snakes.
So moving on, week 3 for our live feed was Agua Nueva. Here we have number 57 for $250. This piece weighs 5.4 pounds. Beautiful purple. Couldn't ask for any more purple than that.
In our feed, we talked about the two deposits on the ranch. One is known primarily for its vein agate, and the other one is known primarily for its nodular agate, even though both deposits contain both types of agate. We have been involved with the Misueño claim on the south side of the mountain, which belongs to our Mexican company, and have mined it, 5 or 6 times since it was formed in 1996. We actually had a mining operation planned for this year, but it got canceled because of everything that's happened. And we were going to concentrate a little more on the nodules that are present in the Misueño claim, but that's not going to happen this year.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
We'll see.
The deposit itself is still rich in agate. There's still a lot of material there.
We have 2 more items for Agua Nueva. Here is a beautiful purple and yellow cab, number 62 for $60. Little druzy end there, stunning. And another Agua cabs, number 63, $42, cut in that German buff top style, perfected by Gene Mueller himself. You're laughing at me. I'm trying to promote you and you're laughing at me. Okay. So, next up, Royal Imperial. Hand me the big one. So one thing you need to know about this piece, we're going to point this out real quick, is that it does have a saw mark right there. That was not done by us, but we decided to polish it anyway because it's beautiful.
This is a very large one.
And it's marked down because of it.
Came out about
59.
4 or 5 years ago. I went over in our previous feed. I guess this was number 4. The location, and talked a little bit about the fine jaspers. Of those jaspers that have the egg pattern, the Royal Imperial by far has the most, and probably this deposit, if you call them fine jaspers, is probably the largest in the world. There are many different small deposits, and I have an announcement. We actually found out a few days ago that we have another batch on the way here.
Another batch of Royal Imperial coming?
Another batch of Royal Imperial.
That's exciting.
Coming. This is very unusual to get one in the spring because, down in Mexico at this time, everything is closed down. As a matter of fact, they even have the highways closed. You can't travel on the highways. So I guess some of the people didn't have anything to do, and they went out and dug some more up for us. So we actually have a new batch coming. It's not across the border yet, but it's on its way to El Paso, and hopefully we'll have it here sometime near the end of July. The new material that we're getting is different from where most of these were dug. It's generally a little smaller, but the amount of egg pattern in the jasper is a little stronger. It's more, as a whole, the jasper is a little bit more suited to cutting cabochons than it is for specimens, but still, the new batch looks pretty good in photographs.
Can you hand me the next one, please? We'll go with that. We'll do that right in the middle, in between Royal and Graveyard. Okay, Evan? Here's number 70, a really long, elongated nodule, cut in half, polished. Beautiful pattern. Number 71, another pair. 300 for this one.
It's a beautiful pair.
I think you posted this one, didn't you?
Half of it, yeah.
Half of it.
Makes me dizzy.
All right. And one more. A small cab that got finished up this week, but so beautiful. Number 72 is 34. All right, what were those numbers, Evan, that we need to look at?
59.
59. Someone had requested to look at 59 again. This is $95, a piece of Agua Nueva. Very unusual piece, really. It's like a lavender flame. Has nice quartz around the edge. Is this an attachment here?
Yeah, that was a fault in the
fault
host
in the
rock.
How it attached onto the host rock and excavated off the edge. That's cool. There we go. And this one again, we have number 57 as a second look. This is $250 for the piece. Beautiful purple color on this one. Those pink tubes in the bottom here. All right. Moving on to Graveyard.
This was our fifth.
1, 2, 3, 4,
presentation.
5. Yep.
Yeah.
Week 5 was on graveyard. I bet you are just so excited for next week to come, aren't you, Gene?
We have a mining operation planned to start around June 10th to the 24th or so at the mine where most of this material came from. In our previous feed, we went over how this area is kind of the gateway to a rockhound collecting area. It's probably one of the best overall areas to collect rocks in the country. And we have a claim there called the Beverly Marie. And we allow collecting on our claim, and if you happen to be in the area or are planning a trip to that area and you want to see our operation, you can come. Where there are some restrictions involved. You have to sign a waiver to collect on our claim while we're working. And you cannot disturb our actual mining operation, but those will be kind of taped off. And so you can let us work. We have to work to get the rock out of the ground. But people who do come there can collect on our dumps, our mining dumps, or mining piles where we're doing stuff. We of course sometimes miss a piece. It goes into the excavator bucket, gets dumped on the pile, and if you happen to be there, you can pick it up. We charge 50 cents a pound for rock that is collected off our claim.
Sounds like a whole lot of fun. You mean you get to go out there on a 4-wheel road and park your truck and then go dig in a pile of dirt for a day?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. We did have a question about what the half-off number was, and that was number 66, right? So we'll show that one again. Here you go. Can you put that back? Thank you. Number 66. This is not a piece of Royal Imperial. It's a piece of Green Imperial.
It's the regular, yes. The other side of the ridge.
Okay. And one more second time around. Number 67 is 140 for the pair. Both full backs. No giving way on this one, what was inside. And little striations through the eggs there. Beautiful. Okay, what number are we on? Do we do this one? All right. Can you start? Give me that one. We'll start here. I'm not sure if I did this one yet or not. Number 79, $40 for this slab. Beautiful gold and white plumes.
That's from the Regency Rose area on the south end of the claim.
Most of these are
yes.
Most of these are from that area. This is a bigger chunk. Beautiful plumes. That dark blue agate in the center. So what do you think you're going to go for when you're there? Are you going to try to dig up that cave again? Or are you going to spend time on the north end of the claim? What are your plans?
Our plan is to dig into two areas. Because of our plan of operations with the BLM, we can't have too much area open at one time. So we'll dig in two spots. I think we're going to dig in the north end first because we found some rock and some angel wing up there that was very similar to some of the material that was dug up by Stewart's Rock Shop 20 years ago.
Are you talking about what we refer to as classic graveyard with pink plumes in it?
It's kind of blue and white with these marcasite halos on it. And hopefully we'll find some more of that. Much to our... on the north end of the claim, we found one north-south of vein that had some pink color in it as well. We didn't think there was any pink up there, but we may try and find that vein again also. And then the second week of the operation, I think we'll work just south of where the cave was discovered under the road. Last time we worked a little further south, but did not reroute the road, so the rock under the road was not worked, and I think there is some very good agate right under the road. So we may take the road out and reroute the road and then dig that area.
Picture Jaspers, week 6. So we don't have all of the variety we had in our first feed, but there are a few. Oh, we have some to show again here of Graveyard Quick. Number 79 is 40. It's a slab.
Quite a range of colors. You got orange and white and gold.
And number 80 is 65.
A little bit of pink or red over in the corner of that one.
Picture Jaspers, Gene. Ooh. 7-pound piece here. We'll start out with. This is Rocky Butte. You wanted to point out some of
I wanted to
the
point out
pictures
some
in
of the
here?
difference between Rocky Butte and a few of the others. Most of the picture Jaspers have this reputation of having these rolling hills, brown rolling hills, and the blue sky. But Rocky Butte probably has the greatest range of color of the picture Jaspers that are found in the area. And the Jasper usually starts out green and then goes to red and then orange and can have dendrites. And there's all kinds of pictures in this. If you turn it this way, there's a nice landscape there. There's a nice tree on top of a mountain. There's another tree falling over. So there's different kinds of pictures that sometimes you don't see in some of the other Jaspers.
This next one is from Madagascar. It's called Landscape Jasper. $65, number 87 for the pair. It's an unusual piece. Very abstract. You have to hand them to me. Evan stepped away for a sec. Number 88 is 30. This is a wahi. Number 89 is another landscape jasper for 30. This is a cut end. Kind of looks like you're looking out from inside of a cave or something. Number 90 is 25.
These few pieces are a wahi jasper, the original discovery out there. Went over that last time. And sometimes it's called a wahi gem, just to make sure you distinguish it from all the other many different kinds of jasper that comes from the Wahi Mountains.
Here's a cut end of landscape jasper. This one is $20, number 92.
Oh.
Number 93. Yes.
We have the book.
We have the book. The book is in. We've contacted those people who did mention that they wanted the book earlier. We do have several more copies available. I believe there's 10 more copies of this book. This covers the picture jaspers of the Northwest area. also Morrisonite and Willow Creek and Bruno, I believe. Your recommendation for this book, Jean?
You have to have this book if you're interested in Jaspers or picture Jaspers.
Have to. It's a must, Jean says. Number 93 for the book is $50. Number 93.
I have to show a picture in here.
I'm going to go for number 94 quick. Number 94 is $45. This is an unusual piece of landscape Jasper. I cut this week. It has a purple center instead of the more common dark blue. Purple and orange. You want to show the picture?
There's Jake and I working in the Morrisonite area.
Number 95 is $35. Another piece of Awahi Jasper. We're on 96, Evan. Can you grab that for me, please? Here are a few cabs. It's Rocky Butte. Number 96 is $38. A nice little tree there. Number 97 is $38. Nice landscape. Again, this is Rocky Butte. Number 98 is $34. And 99 finishes up our picture, Jaspers. What are we talking about next?
Laguna.
Laguna. Beautiful Laguna coming right up. Okay.
We're making these long jumps from Mexico to Oregon, back to Mexico.
Can we start with that yellow one? Here's number 100. 240. So you worked at Laguna three
Yeah, I mined
3 times.
The Alianza claim 4 times, I believe.
4.
And Armando, the owner of the claim, is working there right now. He's only working by hand. They have no equipment. Has his son-in-law helping him, and they have recently produced a little rock, and that is on the way here right now. So we expect to have another batch, another small batch of Alianza claim by the end of the month, by the end of June. We sell the number 1 Alianza agate in 10-pound lots, and they are offered to people on our Laguna list. If you are on the list and we go right down the list, and if there's 5 lots available, the next 5 people on the list are called, and then you have a week to decide whether you want to buy it or not. It's no problem if you don't want to buy it, don't have the money at that time. Then your just name is skipped over until you come up again the next time through the list. If this is something, a Laguna Agate number 1 material that you're interested in or might be interested in, you have to call the shop and get your name on that list.
Or email.
Or email, yes.
Or message in the comments here and we'll contact you. Or message us an email or message us through Facebook that you want to be a part of that list if you're not already. Or if you want to check your status. Stephanie is keeping great track of that. This is a beautiful one I cut this week. Number 105 is $60 for the pair.
We are hoping that this little batch will cross.
Number 106, another one I got to cut this week. It's kind of a lucky cut.
That one's got some nice parallax.
Yes, it does. Number 107 is $4.25 for the pair. This was an interesting one looking on the outside. It has this one pocket of banding that you see on this side. And then the other side it has multiple. Cut it right through. Beautiful red and white.
Beautiful.
Those Laker fans sure do like the red and white Lagunas.
They like the red and white Lakers too.
Red and white Lakers too, yes. Number 108 is 35. This is a part of a vein.
Yes.
And actually we have some cabs coming up cut off of this rock. This is probably my favorite. Number 109 is 195. I had a picture of this on Facebook a while ago, right when it came out of the saw, and then I'm not sure what happened to its other half. But we did finish that and get it all polished up. Beautiful. Is this the last one? Oh, we have two more. Number 110 is 35. Smaller Laguna with a nice orange center. Oh, okay. Thank you, Evan. 111, $25. And now we're going to go on to a few of those cabs cut out of that vein material. Number 112 is 52. Such a beautiful rainbow of color in these cabs. Number 113. Okay. Week 8 was Morrisonite, and I squirreled away a few pieces.
Boy, I guess.
Can we switch places? Maybe? No, never mind. That doesn't work. Hand me that top one in the back, the next number. Thank you. Number 114 is a big chunk of Morrisonite. It weighs 5.15 pounds. It is $1,200.
There were, I don't know, 4 or 5 slabs off of this. There's one here.
Okay. No, you can tell us about Morrisonite, excuse me.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the Christine Marie production at the end.
Oh, that's
most of these are Jake's place. I think
115.
So there's
45.
one Christine Marie here.
Jean's grabbing some water. When you get back, Jean, you had a story about the matrix rock.
Oh yeah, the rock that that the Morrisonite is formed in is called a welded tuft, and it's very abrasive. And somebody asked once, well, you know, if you got a pair of gloves, how long do they last out there? And generally, if you're working in the rock, they last about a day. A new pair of boots will be worn out in this rock in a month.
Just because of the roughness of the terrain.
Just because of the roughness of the rock itself. It's amazing. You can take two flat rocks, place one on top of the other, and slowly tilt it sideways, and you get to almost 70 degrees before the rock will fall off. This was great from a mining point of view because we were working in rock slides all the time. And since the rock was so abrasive, it did not slide easy and would always let you know when a rock slide was going to happen. So you could be working along and you would know from little sounds or little trickles of rock that something was going to fall pretty soon, and protect yourself.
That's very scary to think of. Like, oh, yep, I heard the little bit of sound, but it's not ready to fall yet. I need to get out of the way quite yet.
That's exactly what you said. Oh, I'm going to get this one out. I can get this one out.
I can get one more.
I can get one more.
And then I remember you telling me once that you were like, I could tell it was about time. So I decided to take my break and eat my lunch. And you had a little show, didn't you? You sat back on the opposite side away from the wall and just watched it come in.
Oh, yeah, I actually watched a rock fall. I wanted to do that since I was dealing with falling rocks all the time. So there was this big rock in the left side of the pit, and there was some good Jasper underneath it, so I kept digging it out and kind of exposed it, and there'd be little indications that it was going to fall pretty soon. So then I just got back out of the way and watched it fall. It took about half an hour, I think, before it actually fell.
$126 is $45 for the pair. Would be coming up. $127 is a slab, $45. What else can you tell us about Morrisonite? You only spent 11 years of your life there, or 11 months of your life. Actually, what did we calculate earlier? You said 4 to 5 weeks of a mining operation.
4 to 5 weeks, yeah, each mining operation.
And you were there for 11 years, so you were there for over a year of your life mining this rock. So this one has glue on the back. I just want to point that out too. $7.50 for $129. Those were reinforcements, not repairs. Here we go. Number 130, and this is off of that big rock we showed earlier. This is 800. We had a number of these slabs in the last feed. I think we had 4, and I kept one of them for this review show. Here's the only piece of Christine Marie that we have on the table tonight. This is 131. It's $150 for the pair. And it's a butterflied piece of Christine Marie. No blue in this one, but it has some nice brown eggs, brown and yellow eggs. Okay. Number 132 is 140. A nice sized chunk. I'm surprised, some blue eggs. Was this Jake's place?
Yes.
And one more piece of Morrisonite tonight, and we'll move on to week 9. 133 is $55 for the pair. Nice. This is one of those pieces that I got to cut out of the barrel.
Yes. Surprise.
Surprise. There you go. Koibito Agate.
This was just last week.
This was just last week.
There were a couple of... get to say last week, or I meant to say but did not. One is that Andres Carrillo is Maureen's grandson, and he is now running the ranch and is actively mining the Koibito Agate. He has an excavator there, as well as several other pieces of equipment. It's still a large cattle ranch. I don't know how many head they have, but I think the last time they had between 100 and 200 head of cattle. So when they are not taking care of the cattle, they can go mine agates. And he has taken a lot of the deposits down a little further, and also created or worked on some new ones, and has renamed most of the deposits so that a particular place of working, which like we had on our little on our website, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. He has other names for those, and is trying to, or he will identify, if he has it for sale, he will identify that particular Koibito agate as coming from that particular dig. Another thing is, I told the story of my first meeting with Andres' grandfather, sort of an auspicious meeting where the whole negotiations were done across the table with a gun on the table. But I did not get to say that I really grew to like Maureen Carrillo Sr. very much. He, I don't know, we had a great rapport with each other. He understood all the problems of mining, and he was very helpful to me in getting things started. And it was sad for me to have him pass on several years after our last mining operation there.
Number 139 coming up here is a pear. This was cut this week. This one is 75 for the pear. Full round backs. Had this interesting something going on in here, so I cut it across that to show. And surprise, a nice little bouquet inside. Number 140, also cut this week. 185 for this one. These were out of that Alimaho. No, that's Malawi. It's confusing. Oh boy. What's the name?
That was out of the barrel.
Yeah. What's the name?
It's from the southern deposit. The
Los Alamos.
Los Alamos.
Los Alamos. I got it. Just give me a second. My brain doesn't work that fast. 141, 185. Nice half nodule here. Can you hand me the next one, sweetie? Number 142 is 75. Another one that was cut this week. Beautiful color variance in this one from red to yellow with the blue center. Very typical of Koibito. 143 is the only Koibito agate cab we have tonight, but it is pseudomorphic. We talked about pseudomorphs, and Robert Cooper said a different word for a pseudomorph that was covered with a there was another word for it, and I researched this, and I think he was right. It's not a pseudomorph that has a different name if it's coated with agate and filled in. Do you remember? Isaac will tell me in a second. Paramorph? Paramorph. A paramorph is one that is filled in on the inside and coated on the outside. Thank you, Robert Cooper. 144 is 25 for the pair. I think this one didn't get in the original feed because we couldn't find its pair for a while, but we found it this week. Beautiful little red and yellow agate. Next item, Evan's pick of the week, is a piece of fluorite from Spain. This is number 159. It's $44.99. Beautiful fluorite cubic crystals from Spain. And moving on, we have some rough to show. Will you grab that, please? We have some rough for you cutters here. Starting with the Malawi Agate, we offer this in a few different ways. This Malawi Agate here is $35 a pound. It's the select material. Can you tell us about the select and how it's different from the babies, Jean?
Having the people in Malawi grade material is very, very difficult. So Joshua Ritter is down there, and he's trying to train them. So basically, for the wholeness of the nodule and trying to get rid of all the quartz balls. That was basically the best thing that he could do. And then, because the agates from this location are fairly small, he placed an emphasis on the size. So the small ones that were primarily like, what are they, 2 inches and smaller, I would say, came up as, or put into a pile called babies, and then the larger material with the poor agate removed became the select.
Okay, we do have that select in a 10-pound lot here for $200, and then those babies in a 1-pound lot for $12. Multiple of those are available, so don't feel like you lost out if you just text one. We have a repeat here, number 139 for the pair is $75. Evan, can you help? Thank you. Our next rough item is those whole nodules of Botswana that were dug up out of that collector's backyard in California, $12 a pound, or we offer a 50-pound lot for $400. Agua Nueva moss, $15 a pound. Can you hand me my water bottle, please? Here, you want to grab the camera, Evan, so I can show the rock? Thank you. This moss agate has a lot of variation in its color, and I think that that's probably its selling point. Gold and red with white, has some lavender pockets, really tight, nice moss patterns. Great for detailed cabs. The select over here is the high end of this. So it's going to have some more purple, some more yellow. This piece up here, can you get that? That's an unusual piece with big orange pocket of color there. Some of the other ones have the purple, yellow, and a little bit of moss on the edge, but the select does have some more fortification. If you'd like to order either one of these, Agua Nueva Agate Moss at $15 a pound, please text comment number 149. And if you would like to, or you have interest in the Agua Nueva Select, $150 at $30 a pound. The next rough item we have here is Royal Imperial. Evan? We have some of these 10-pound lots for $120. We have multiples available. 10-pound lot for 120 Royal Imperial. Those nodules are smaller than what you saw on the top. I'll refer to as the classic. This classic graveyard is mostly white plumes or white with marcasite plumes in that lighter blue to white agate. For landscape jaspers, we have, or for picture jaspers, sorry, number 154 is $6 a pound. Landscape jasper, those nodules, raw nodules, are coming out of Madagascar. And number 155 is Oahe jasper or Oahe gem. That material sells for $20 a pound. These next two have limited supply. This one here, what? Slow down. We're looking at some nice Oahe gem material. $20 a pound for the Oahe, number 155. This next one, Laguna Agate, 5-pound lot for $75, number 156. I did find a few of these. Benjamin carts, I did pull one for you out of this feeds because you did ask for it earlier. There are 4 others available if you'd like one. And we do have that new Laguna coming, so we probably will be restocking those very quickly. This next, we have a limited supply of these. I wanted to get these in because they were so popular the first time. A 2-pound lot of morrisonite for $100 is number 157, and I have 5 available. Our last item here is Koibito Agate for $12 a pound, number 158. You want to show one of those? This material has mostly broken nodules, but does show some of those pseudomorphic inclusions in the nodules or some colored, nicely colored skins or bands of skins like this that could be cabbed. Oh, there's a pseudomorph. Cool. We have some look-agains. 4 of them. Number 92 is $20. Number 44 is $25 for the pair. This is impossible to do with one hand. Okay, number 142 is $75. And what do we have here? Number 134, $240. A little bit of a broken edge there. Unusually shaped nodule, but very large. Are we good? Okay, Jean has a story to tell.
It's not exactly good.
Yeah?
Just film on this while I start.
Okay, you got it.
The Gem Shop has been a source for all the items that we have presented in these feeds so far, either through our own mining or through direct importation of the material. Today I thought I would talk a little bit about what is involved in a mining operation and tell you about my last 2 weeks mining in the morrisonite area. What you're looking at here is Christine Marie morrisonite. And the 3 pieces in the front were mined in the first 9 years I was there, and these 6 pieces were mined the very last time I was there. Mining is a very risky business financially for several reasons. For example, if you have a gold claim, you can test the ground and find out how much gold there is per cubic yard of material removed, and you can calculate very easily the value that you will receive for doing so much work. However, because agates and jaspers, their value is based on aesthetics, you have no way of knowing what value is there. So generally, a game plan kind of goes like this. You have to get enough material in your operation to last for 2 or 3 years of sales. And you want to do this in the shortest amount of time and least amount of expense possible. Measurement of how successful your mining operation is. You can like say, well, what we used to do is, well, if you can sell enough rock in 2 years to recoup your mining expenses for that operation, that was a successful mining operation. In the 26 or so mining operations that I have been involved with, roughly half of them were successful. Of course, this does not take into account sales afterwards or the possibility of increasing value of the rock over time, which sometimes can happen. Typically, mining operations are like 30 days in length. They're based on 30 days. There are several reasons for this. One, if you don't have your own equipment, the cost of renting equipment for 30 days gives you the most possibility and the least amount of risk for the cost of the rental. The cost of the equipment is so much per month. That's cheaper than renting it for 2 weeks or whatever. The risk in the deposit is substantial because if you say, well, I'm going to go dig this rock, but you don't know where it is, you don't know how much work you're going to have to do to get it out, you don't know the quality of it, it becomes not advantageous to work for more than 30 days till you get in there and see what's happening and have some idea. Another criteria that you might consider for a 30-day dig is that's usually the maximum amount of time your wife will let you be away.
Says a man with 26 years of mining experience.
In the operation itself, first you have to have an idea of where the good rock is. This can be just signs on the surface or previous experience. And then you have to consider how much time you're going to use to remove the overburden or remove material away from where the ore is or the rock is. And in a 30-day operation, it's usually the last 10 days where you are really producing rock. This, of course, is also true of operations that are more than 30 days or less than 30 days, but it's those last 10 days that sometimes miners talk about. Jake and I would reminisce about this sitting around the campfire at night and talk about the last 10 days and say often kind of jokingly, well, I wish we could mine just the last 10 days and didn't have to do all that work beforehand. So it's kind of a joke. That's the last 10 days. That's when it comes out of the ground. I mined morrisonite for 11 years. The first 2 years, being pretty ignorant about what you had to do, was spent in just building the road down to the deposit. For the 6 or 7 years after that, I produced rock. 1 year, working for 5 weeks, I only produced 125 pounds. It was just under 1,000 pounds of rock. The character of the Christine Marie Morrisonite is that it is small, but either very good or very bad. Unlike Jake's Place claim, where there's a whole range of qualities, and the Christine Marie did not have any streamers or color variations. It had egg pattern or it was plain. So if you dig up a piece of rock and there's no eggs in it, it was just simply thrown away. If it had eggs in it, it went in the bucket. The veins were very rarely large. I had these two pieces in the front. So here's a piece. You can see the broken piece on the side. This is considered a large piece. Here's a very nice vein that's about 1.5 inches thick. And again, I kept that because it was a very large, beautiful piece. The Jasper seems to have different characteristics depending on where you're digging in the side of the hill. This was a float piece. It was actually one of the pieces that helped me decide exactly where I was going to dig. It's unusual. It's green on the outside, goes to red, and then it has this striking egg pattern in the middle. There were only 2 pieces of this found, and the deposit never was. So either it was up the hill, or this was deposited high in the deposit, and it's simply down in the overburden down the slide of the mountain. My last operation, I had a contract for the sale of the claims in Morrisonite. And the last year, 1996, I mined twice, mined in the spring, and I decided to go back and mine again for a couple weeks in September. So I got there and show these pictures.
Here, and just hand them to me.
The first 2 pictures just show where it is and where the Christine Marie claim is on the slide of that slope at the bottom. So this was my last mining operation. Because of my medical problems, I also thought it was my very last mining operation ever. So I got the pit cleaned out. Yeah, this is a picture of the pit not too long before I quit.
This is Christine Marie.
Christine Marie, yes.
And that's, how far down do you think? 20 feet down in the ground?
Yeah, it's 15, 20 feet. The deposit is unusual because there were very large rocks sitting on top of smaller rocks broken up. The mining there is difficult because you have to go through the rock if you see signs. I took apart a 10-ton boulder on the Christine Marie claim and got about 3 pounds of jasper. That's how rare it was in there, even though it seemed to be showing jasper. Okay, so this is my very last time. I've got the pit all cleaned out, and I'm digging in the back, and I'm standing there, and I notice a little crack in the bottom of the pit. When you bring the machine in to remove stuff out of there, a lot of times, you scrape the dirt, and if there is a crack there, you scrape dirt in it so you can't see it, that there is a crack there. So something must have happened. The rock fell down or something. So I looked over there on the side, on the far left-hand bottom of the pit, and here's this crack going into the ground. So I looked in there, and it looks like a piece of jasper. So I reach my arm in a little past my elbow and feel around, rock is loose. And I pull it out, and it's like a 4-pound chunk of jasper. As big, if not bigger, than everything that I have mined for the past 9 years. Full of eggs. So the crack kind of curled around, so I reached down in there again, a little deeper. Now, you have to picture this, that picture you just saw. I'm laying on my stomach, flat on the ground, with my arm in this crack, almost to my shoulder, trying to feel around to see if I can get a loose rock out of there. I pulled another one out. There's another 4-pound chunk of morrisite, bigger than anything that I had mined for 9 years previous. There was about 9 or 10 pieces, of which are pictured in the back here. 3 of them are polished and 3 are rough. I have shown these, some of these over the years. Usually I take one in December and cut and polish it. But these are giant compared to these, which were considered large for the entire mining operation. To find pieces this size and of this quality at the very end of the time that you're mining can only be described as a gift from God. And that's the way I look at it. Just a side note, if you watched the presentation last time, I made an appeal to people to keep watch about what happens with the Blue Canyon WSA, and not to allow that to happen. I never got to the bottom of this vein. I never saw the vein. I pulled pieces out. I had my rock hammer in my hand, with laying flat on the bottom of the pit with all the way to my shoulder, and scraping around to see if I could get any more rock out of there. There is more jasper there, and that's apparently a lot better jasper than I mined in 10 years.
Thank you for sharing that story, Jean. I just wanted to end tonight's feed looking at these beautiful pieces of Christine Brie one more time, and to take an opportunity to thank each and every one of you for watching over the last 9 weeks. It truly has been a roller coaster of a learning curve for us, but I think that we're going to bring this back in the fall. We have some really exciting ideas for our second show season, and we're always interested in what our customers have to say. So if you have ideas about what you would like to see, or any ideas at all, that we're listening to our customers, so drop us a line. And in order to get notified about those things, just a reminder to sign up for our weekly newsletter, subscribe to our YouTube station, and keep an eye out on our Facebook posts, and we will make sure that you are in the know of what's going on here at the Gem Shop with Indiana Jean. Thank you so much, everyone. I have one more request, actually. Thank you, Isaac, to re-see number 11545. There you go. Stay safe, everyone. We look forward to opening our store on Monday.